All right, so quick question. He's still holding the
I'm
cymbal.
holding the cymbal, man.
It's all right. You can play it.
I'm gonna
We'll
sleep
set
with
a
it
stand
tonight.
right here. So, quick question. This is where we highlight questions that are never have a quick answer, I should say. This comes from personal experience. Folks walk in the store and they say, "Hey, quick question," and you know if they start with that this is going to be the rest of your afternoon. Sometimes, it's
the most
always.
part.
Sometimes the question itself is
Yeah,
a short
well,
question,
quick
and a
question.
quick question,
And-
but the answer has all of these follow-up questions and a lot of conversation.
It's almost like an icebreaker, but it's not a quick question. Usually isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Usually is not.
Yeah, usually not a quick question.
So what's a quick question?
It's a long conversation. All right, so here's the quick question for today, and we'll dive into who might be asking this question because we've gotten this question from many different types of folks. Hey Sean, quick question:
Yes.
Who's the best drummer?
Oh my gosh. That is not a quick question.
It's not.
That's a loaded question.
There you go. That should be the name of it.
Yeah, loaded question.
New
Yeah,
segment.
that really is because there's a lot of different categories, and we just had Buddy Rich on. He would be one of the first people that would come to mind for your purist or whatever else would say, "Oh well, it's got to be Buddy
folks will
Rich."
go there.
But now I've seen this whole other spectrum of drummers come along since then, and I'm not an old guy. I'm not even of the Buddy Rich era, but coming up,
right.
the guys before me were it's like, hey, Buddy Rich, you don't know who Buddy Rich is?
Right.
Got it, I didn't come up listening to jazz or big band, but
Right.
drum teacher and coming into the shop and
Yeah, of course.
you see Buddy Rich, who is this old man? You figure that out,
Yep.
So one of the quick answers would be, oh, it's Buddy Rich because of his versatility
Right.
and his power and his finesse and it's just technique and all that kinds of stuff, and I think all those things make a great drummer. But
Yep. A lot of guys jump to Bonham.
Bonham.
Keith Moon gets brought up a lot just because
Yeah.
of his energy,
Mhm.
And there's a lot of it is a little bit of a loaded question because are we talking about who has the best technique? Are we talking about who has the most energy? Are we talking about who gets your blood pumping? Who was the drummer at your first show that really got you introduced to drums? You know what I mean? All these things. We talked about Neil Peart on the show with Nonemacher and how a lot of non-drummers, this will transition to my next point here, a lot of non-drummers will be like, oh, well, you ever heard of the Neil Peart from Rush?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He's got to be. Oh, he's the best, right?
Right.
Say
That's interesting. So I have a couple things, notes I took here.
Yeah.
If it's a parent or someone, a parent of a student or a new student or someone that's is just getting into the drumming world or maybe not even a part of the drumming world, I'm sorry, folks. I'm dying over here. I'm dying. They want you to say that Neil Peart's the best drummer.
They want an answer. They want an answer.
They want an answer, but they want that to be the answer, I think.
Right.
I think they want to be like, Neil Peart, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like to confirm
give
that
you
they
that
know
look.
about drum.
They give
I
you
don't
that
know
look.
what it is. I don't know what happened. I don't know what kind of Rush propaganda has been pushed out there, but seems like
they've been at it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think the best propaganda is when other people are saying it.
It's true.
It's like when
Yeah.
you could say it enough times, but if you get your fans or whatever else saying it too,
Yeah.
now it's grassroots.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, you got the big kit, you got the electronics of that
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
in with the big kit, the acoustic, electric. There's a fly in
See,
here.
that's why we.
That's
should
why we
shut
usually
the
close
door.
those
Yeah.
doors. Yeah, but it's interesting. So that person, there's the parent or new student that's really, I think, I broke this down a little bit. I think they're just hoping to recognize the name.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
hoping to recognize the name to
Right.
feel included and inclusive.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine. That's totally cool.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're not going to answer this question. You and I are not going to answer this question. That's not part of this.
No.
We're going to
I've
talk
da-
about why this is not a quick question.
I've danced around the question.
yeah.
That's my way of
Yeah.
answering
Yeah.
it because I'll name drop a few
true.
without name dropping one particular. Oh, he is the favorite or he's the best. What
Yeah.
I was going to say is, you could ask, oh, who's your favorite drummer?
That's
Or
a different
something like that. That's a
question.
different question.
Who's the
your
best?
favorite?
Who's your favorite? Yep.
Who's the best? And
Yep.
two different things. So you might name a few just to show a little bit of respect to all the greats because there's
course.
so many different things.
It's kind of like you're paying tribute to yes,
Yeah.
I know that he changed
Yes.
the game.
Yeah.
I know that all
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
And you can't say yourself, even if that's what you truly believe deep down. You can't. That's always the wrong answer. That's
No.
always the wrong answer. No, but here's another person that asked this question, and I think this is who we get it from the most: the long-time drummer, someone who's been drumming their whole life. Come in here and they ask this question, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong,
You're wrong. Oh, I didn't hear you yet.
think,
I'm sorry.
Just wait, and you can say it then.
Okay.
I think they're asking it because they want to tell you who their favorite drummer is.
That's right. Yeah.
Your answer
You're probably
doesn't
right.
matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. Usually, someone wants to talk about what
Yeah, they're what they're interested in, of course.
Yeah.
And that's part of shop talk. We always talk about shop talk here at the drum shop. Is people coming in, they want to be able to talk about Neil Peart with someone who knows who he is, or
Yeah.
who John Bonham, and they know that at the drum shop they're going to find someone that knows what's going on.
Yes.
So, there's
Quick
one more
question.
person I want to talk about.
Okay.
This is, I don't want to say skeptical. I call this the inquisitive customer. They're waiting for your answer because they want to figure you out and size you up. So if they say, hey, who's the best drummer?
Right.
Who do you think's the best?
Yeah.
Depending on what you say, that's going to influence whether they want to shop here or not. It's true.
It very well could.
It's true.
Yeah. That's a good point.
That's it. It's like a first date. This is like a first date question for a musician coming into a new store, new
Any
drum
red
shop.
flags popping up?
Any red flags?
Like,
Yeah.
oh, Ringo Starr's my favorite. And now, if you're
Right.
on the way other end, now I'm not saying Ringo Starr's my favorite, but
Right.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
hypothetically, if you answer, oh, it's Ringo Starr, and
Another
you're-
popular answer.
Yeah, and your favorite is someone on the whole other end of the spectrum.
Yep.
And you turn your nose up at the simplicity of Ringo Starr or
Yep.
whatever else. Yeah,
Yep.
you're gonna.
Or if you're
now-
expecting
now,
Ringo
all of a
Starr.
sudden, yeah, your opinion is going to be
Your opinion's
yeah.
going to change the view. It's the first impression thing. Some
Right.
people use that to gauge. If you said if you're expecting Ringo Starr and someone says Mike Portnoy,
Yeah.
that also says something.
It sure
Do
does.
we have something in common? Do we not? That's a reaction. You
Yeah, it
see?
is.
So it's interesting. But who's the best drummer? Long story short, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And it's all preference. I think a better question, like you were saying earlier, is like, oh, who's your favorite? Who are you digging right now?
Sure.
Talk about who you're listening to.
Yeah.
And the band has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah. And a lot of times, there's so many great drummers right now that are just great. I don't want to say just great drummers, but they are great drummers, and they might not play in the Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Right.
or Kings of Leon, or some
Right.
whoever's popular right now.
Or the most recorded drummer.
Yeah.
Whoever's in the most
Exactly,
studio work.
yeah.
That could be considered the
Yeah,
greatest.
because it would be when we would play these drum videos and such, and these great and excellent drummers are up there playing, and they're doing their thing, and someone would ask, "Who's he play for?" Expecting you to say, he's the original drummer from Metallica, or
Right,
something
right,
goofy
right,
like
right.
that. They want an answer like that, and we're like, well,
Who's
he's
he
a
played
session
for?
player. He's played on this record, but he's not he doesn't play in a popular top 40 band.
Yep. Or at least not anymore.
Or not- yeah,
whatever
yeah.
whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did a good job at addressing that question. That is something that's not. It's an interesting conversation that happens after that, because based on what they're looking to get out of it, I just think it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the quick questions dive into like psychology and like, what are
Sure.
you really after? What is the meaning
Yeah.
of drumming? What is the meaning of life? It gets a little intense sometimes, or maybe we're just delusional and we think that drumming should be this, like Nanamacher was saying with the lab coat and the Bunsen burner. Do we really need to delve into it, or we can just say, I like Ringo. Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
There's a place for your
He's got
butts
the
and
groove.
Spriggleys around, but
Right.
you
Hey,
know,
This is not that place.
it's not that place.
Not here on Drum
Right.
Key. We say it how it is. All right. Well, let's quick plug our guest before we bring him on.
Let's plug him.
Like we said earlier, Adam from Meinl is here.
Yes,
or as
he
I
is.
like to call him, he's somewhere out there.
Yeah.
I like to call him 1.0. I consider myself the new and improved version of him because he's older.
You're 2.0.
I'm
I
2.0.
have heard you say
I am
that.
2.0.
And it's funny too. Like speaking of that, there's this ongoing thing that happens with our emails where like I'm meaning to, and this just happened the other day.
Yep.
I meant to email Adam from Meinl, and I emailed you back to Rick. He would do it all the time, and he would put
yeah.
Adam from Meinl would get our personal
Yep.
confidential emails.
He would get Adam, you were late this morning.
Yeah, exactly.
What's up with that? No, I'm just
But
kidding.
I do like,
And then
it
I
just
would get
pops
orders,
up.
and I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I'll try to satisfy these orders,
It's
but
just
I don't
funny.
have that many symbols
It's
at home,
funny,
you
man.
know?
It's funny. I don't know where I was going with that.
It is
but,
funny. No, just we have the same name.
Oh, you have the same name.
Again, back to the
Yeah.
three things we
Yeah.
have in common.
Yeah, 2.0,
But yeah,
3.0, 4.0.
We can bring him on here. I'm very excited to get part of his journey that I don't know too much about his start in drumming or the industry, but then also to just dive into what a rep is. That's what we're trying to do here on Drum Key is like give different insights into the drumming world. And this is another business side.
Right.
We had the retail thing. Now let's talk about the rep.
We had the teacher thing, the
We had
retail
teacher
thing, yeah.
education, all sorts of things.
This is a coup. I like this. This is
a lot.
awesome.
All right, let's bring him on. Let's start between the plies.